Hello everybody, so The Mandalorian Season 2 is over, we got the final episode yesterday, and it was so epic. I mean, so much stuff happened. I was smiling throughout, like, the whole entire thing, and it was a lot to take in. So today, I'm going to talk about the final episode of Season 2 of The Mandalorian. Let's go. Alright, so the episode starts out, The Mandalorian and Boba Fett and Cara Dune and the whole crew are trying to capture the scientist that we've seen show up a few times in the series. They capture him. One of the guys who he's with is kind of egging Cara Dune on about, you know, Alderaan being destroyed and everything with that, so she kills him. And then they capture the scientist. And then they did something surprising. I'm sure it wasn't really surprising to a lot, but it was something that I didn't really expect them to do so soon into the episode, was they went to get Bo-Katan. I thought Bo-Katan was going to show up later on in the episode. They were kind of going to converge trying to defeat Moff Gideon, you know, Mando trying to get Grogu back, and Bo-Katan trying to get the Darksaber from Moff Gideon. I thought they were going to converge that way, but no. He just went right to recruit Bo-Katan and the other lady Mandalorian that she was with. We get a really awesome fight between Boba Fett and like I said, the other Mandalorian that Bo-Katan was with. They have a battle because they're like, "Oh, you're not a real Mandalorian. You're a clone of Jango Fett. I've heard your voice so many times as the clones." And I think that was a cool thing to do. Like, there's just different types of Mandalorians, and they're just sort of like, "Oh, you're not a real Mandalorian," and the main Mandalorian of the series, he's a different like sub group of Mandalorians that follow stricter rules of not taking off their helmet, which that comes up in this episode. And so Boba Fett and the Mandalorian Bo-Katan was with, they have a battle. Bo-Katan's like, "Alright guys, just break it up. And then Mando and Bo-Katan say, "We're gonna team up, we're gonna go find Moff Gideon. I'll get Grogu, you could get the Darksaber, and this is the plan, right? So, let's go, let's defeat Moff Gideon." So they team up, they use their stolen Imperial ship to get into the Imperial ship that Moff Gideon's in. So anyway, they infiltrate the ship. Bo-Katan, Cara Dune, and the other ladies in the group go, and they try to make a distraction for Mando to be able to go find Grogu. So they're beating up a bunch of stormtroopers. They get into the control room that Moff Gideon was supposed to be in. They kill everybody. They're like, "Moff Gideon's not here." Meanwhile, you have Mando up against one of the Dark Trooper droids, and he defeats one of them, and then he ejects the rest of them out into space. And this was a moment that I was a little bit confused about, because I was like, wait, are we not going to get like a big battle with the Dark Troopers? Like, I hadn't realized, I hadn't put together that, like, oh, they're droids, and they're, like, I knew they were droids, but I hadn't, like, really figured out, like, oh, they can probably survive in space. I thought they were just out of the picture for the rest of the episode, so they aren't, by the way, we'll get to that later. But, so, he ejects all of them out, he goes to Grogu's cell, and Moff Gideon is there, holding the Darksaber over his head. He's like, "Alright, I know you're teamed up with Bo-Katan. I know that she's probably up there looking for me, trying to get this Darksaber. Because this Darksaber allows you to rule Mandalore." And then Mando's like, "Alright, listen, I'm just here for Grogu. You can keep the Darksaber, but just give me Grogu. Alright?" And Moff Gideon's like, "Alright, Grogu, I got what I wanted from him. I got his blood. You can have him. Just leave the ship now. Don't cross paths with me again, and you could have Grogu." So he turns off the Darksaber and walks away from Grogu, and Mando walks up, goes to pick him up. Moff Gideon, it was a trick, turns on his, reignites the Darksaber, and they have an epic battle. I mean, that was such a cool battle, having Mando with the Beskar spear, because that's one of the only things in the Star Wars universe that can go up against a lightsaber, or in this case, the dark saber. So they're battling out. That was really cool, and Mando wins. That's a very key thing here. Mando wins against Moff Gideon with the dark saber. So he captures Moff Gideon, gets Grogu. They walk into the control room. Mando's like, alright, got Grogu, and Bo-Katan, here, take the darksaber. Moff Gideon, he's like, hold on, she can't take it. And she knows she can't take it. Because, it needs to be one. To be ruler of the darksaber, to be able to have the darksaber, you need to win it. You beat me. You are the true master of the darksaber. And if Bo-Katan wants it back, she's gonna have to fight you. And Mando's like, nope, listen, I don't want the darksaber, okay? You just take it, alright? I yield, just take it. And Moff Gideon's just still like, nope, no, that is not how it works. It has to be one. You can't just give it up to somebody. They have to beat you in battle to be able to have the darksaber. And I think that's interesting. That's an interesting layer to the darksaber that we haven't really known yet. It's very Elder Wand, like, Harry Potter, the Elder Wand. You have to be the wizard to be able to have the Elder Wand. Very, very Elder Wand-like with the darksaber, but I think that's really cool. So, anyway, then we get the Dark Troopers back. They're walking up to the control room. They're beating down the door. Moff Gideon is like, Mando, you had enough trouble with just one. Think about the trouble you're gonna have when you have a whole army of them coming at you. Everybody in here is gonna die except for me and Grogu. So, get ready. And they're banging down the door, and then an X-Wing flies in. And immediately, I was like, okay, this is going to be the Jedi that Grogu called. And I was also thinking, okay, I was expecting Ezra Bridger this whole time. But I was like, Ezra's not going to be flying an X-Wing. And then I was like, alright, who else could it be? Ahsoka. Ahsoka's not going to be flying an X-Wing. Who's the only Jedi out there who'd have an X-Wing? It's Luke. And I was a little bit disappointed, only because I was like, I don't know, just have it be Luke. It's really cool, but I don't know, it was just, there's some troubles with being Luke that I'll get to later. There's also some cool things with having it be Luke, but there's a few problems that I'll get to later. But anyway, the X-Wing flies in, they're looking at the security cameras, you see the lightsaber, you see the green lightsaber, Luke's green lightsaber, he's taking out all of the Dark Troopers, and, that was really cool. Like, that was such an epic moment to just see. At the moment, you don't know it's Luke. I mean, you kind of do, but, you don't really know that it's Luke, and, just the Jedi taking out a bunch of these Dark Troopers, and then the doors open. He walks in, takes off his hood, and it's Luke. And it just looks really, really off. Like, I think it looks like how Luke would look in a video game. Like, it seems like it would be a video game cutscene of Luke walking in. Like, that's how the face looks. So, that's my problem with it. It's not really a story-wise problem. I think it's interesting to have Luke train Grogu, but I think that it's just, having it be Luke, it just concerns me that, the CGI face, they're gonna have to have him, I think, be in Season 3 more, so it's just, having it look that way for just 5 minutes in this episode, I'm just nervous of how it's gonna look when they have to have him be in maybe a whole episode next season, or in multiple episodes next season, so that's a little bit concerning for me. And also, I just think that they should have done Ezra Bridger. Like, I think a lot of people thought it was going to be Ezra Bridger. If you don't know, he was from the TV show Star Wars Rebels, and he was, I think, in a few comics, or maybe they aren't canon anymore, I don't really know, but, he's mainly, I think most people know him from Star Wars Rebels, and he was a Jedi that was trained before the original trilogy, but then he went missing, and the way he got missing had connections to Thrawn, so I think having Thrawn being name-dropped in the episode with Ahsoka made a lot of people think, oh, maybe they're gonna have Ezra Bridger be the Jedi that is gonna train Grogu. And I think throughout the scene where, they had, Luke taking out all of the Dark Troopers, like before they showed his face, I was going back and forth between whether I thought it was going to be Luke or Ezra, because Ezra also has a green lightsaber, so I was like, they could go either way with it. Like, but then I started thinking as it went on, like, and this kind of looks more of Luke's fighting style. It looks, the outfit he's wearing, it's very Luke. It's not as, it's not really, I feel like it's not really the thing that Ezra would wear. It's very much a Luke outfit. It's kind of the outfit he was wearing in Return of the Jedi, so it was like, alright. As it went on, I was like, alright, it's probably going to be Luke. And it was. And I think, see, if they had done Ezra Bridger, he has never been in live action before, so any version of what he looked like just had to resemble him from Rebels or from the comics, and it would have been fine. Because you wouldn't have to have done CGI, you just have to, have him have blue hair, and that's pretty much it. Like, you could, you don't have to worry so much about how he's supposed to look in live action, because he hasn't looked in live action ever. He hasn't been in live action ever, so, I think with Luke, he was there for the, he was the original, he was in the original trilogy, he was the main character of the original trilogy in live action, and, it's just hard, because, you don't have Mark Hamill, the age, you don't have Mark Hamill to be Luke Skywalker anymore, because he's old now, he can't play young Luke Skywalker anymore, so you have to do it through CGI, and it just makes it rough to, have to do something like that. Now, it is interesting, because in The Last Jedi, Luke says that, he's seen this raw power once before. It didn't scare him enough then. It does now when he's talking about Rey. And I think that there's some connections to, the power set of Grogu and Rey. They both are the only two characters to ever Force heal. They both have a lot of Force power for not being trained very much. And so, I think that it's interesting, because, in The Last Jedi, you're supposed to think that he's talking about Kylo Ren, but it's interesting if they go the route of having it actually be Grogu that he's talking about. I think that would be really cool, but, I don't know, it does kind of take away from the themes of The Last Jedi a little bit, but, I think it would be interesting if, it's an interesting, idea to explore. But nevertheless, it was still cool. It was really cool to see R2. I think that the goodbye between Mando and Grogu, I don't think it's really goodbye forever, but, the goodbye between them was so great. He takes off his helmet. And it's the first time Grogu sees him without his helmet, so it's such a nice moment, him taking off his helmet, and, I just think that's so cool, that they put that in there, that, from where he was in the beginning of Season 1, just kind of doing the job, following the Mandalorian rules, refusing to take off his helmet in front of anybody, and, last episode, we see him have to take off his helmet. Well, even last episode of Season 1, takes off his helmet in front of IG-11, and then last episode, he takes off his helmet in front of all of, in the Imperial base, because that's what he has to do to save Grogu. And this one, he takes off his helmet, and this time, because like last episode when he takes off his helmet, everybody that saw him died, except for Bill Burr's character. But everybody else in that room, like, there wasn't consequences to him taking off his helmet. But here, there's definitely going to be consequences, because he took off his helmet in front of the whole crew of the show, Bo-Katan, Cara Dune, Moff Gideon. They all have seen his face now. Luke Skywalker has seen his face now. And I think that's going to be interesting to see how that, where that goes in Season 3. But yeah, so Mando says goodbye to Grogu, gives him to Luke. They walk down the hallway into the elevator. The elevator door closes, and the episode ends. Except it doesn't, because there's a post-credit scene for this one. If you didn't see it, there's a post-credit scene, and you can go watch it. I'm not gonna spoil it just yet. I'm gonna give you some time to click off the video. If you have not seen the post-credit scene, go watch it now, because I will be giving spoilers for it in 3, 2, 1. Back on Tatooine. We're in Jabba's palace. I think it's Jabba's palace. There's somebody, obviously Jabba was killed in Return of the Jedi. There's somebody else on Jabba's throne. I don't really know who it is, but it doesn't really matter, because Boba Fett comes in, kills that guy, sits on the throne, and cuts to black, and it says, The Book of Boba Fett, coming December 2021. That is so cool. Boba Fett's getting his own TV show, on his own Disney Plus show. That's so cool. I'm very excited for that. I guess it's gonna be kind of going side on side with the Mandalorian. I'm assuming that Boba Fett won't really show up as much in the Mandalorian now, since he'll have his own show. But yeah, that was really cool to see. Now I want to go into some of my predictions of Season 3. And actually, before I get into my predictions for it, I just want to say that the way this episode ended actually got me a little bit confused on if there will be a Season 3 or not, so I had to look it up immediately after, like, wait, because it seems like that this could be the ending of the whole series, and I was like, wait, are they only doing 2 seasons? But I looked it up, they are doing Season 3, so thank God for that. Yeah, so I'm thinking that Season 3 is going to be, I think it's going to pick up right after Season 2. Like, I think it's going to continue right where it left off. It's going to be the same scene. I don't think it's going to do a jump forward in time. I think it's going to continue that scene there. I think something's going to happen where maybe Luke won't end up training Grogu. I think maybe there's going to be something that's going to happen where Luke's going to have to leave, and, Luke's going to have to leave Grogu with Mando, and then I don't know what that could be, but I think that would be interesting to maybe not have Luke train Grogu, to not kind of mess with that, to not have to have Luke, CGI Luke for a long time, just have him kind of just be there. Maybe you have, like, a few other Jedis show up, and then, I don't know. That would be interesting if they set it up so Luke doesn't end up training Grogu, and Grogu ends up back with Mando. And I think another thing that the next season is going to explore is the repercussions of Mando now being the master of the Darksaber. They might end up having, in this first episode, that's a continuation of the scene. They might have it be, Moff Gideon keeps egging Bo-Katan on to battle Mando to get the Darksaber, and they have a battle, and maybe Mando wins, and maybe Mando still by the end of it, is master of the Darksaber. And I think what may end up happening is Mando might end up being ruler of Mandalore by the end of it. I think that that'd be an interesting arc to have him be like this like sub cult of Mandalorians that don't take off their helmet, follow strict rules, and now he's master of this. Now he's the ruler of, the larger Mandalore, and he's like, because I think having him take off his helmet here is sort of, getting him less strict with the rules, and so I think that he's kind of moving towards sort of the type of Mandalorian that Bo-Katan is, but I think he's also he's also going to keep some of the ancient traditions that he follows still, so he may end up making Mandalore go back to how it was, like have more elements of the ancient ways, but also be combine new Mandalore with old Mandalore. That's something that that's something that they're gonna explore, have happen with, I think they're gonna have Mando end up being ruler of Mandalore. So I think that's sort of what season 3 is going to be more of. I don't know what they're gonna do with Grogu, because that's obviously gonna have to be another key element of the plot of season 3 is Grogu. I think we're gonna have to explore more of like what they're doing, because we still don't know what they're doing with the Grogu. So I think that the one plot of season 3 is going to be kind of figuring out what they're doing with Grogu, and the other side of it will be Mando sort of losing his rules that he used to follow, but also gaining some new ones and keeping some, and kind of, getting him to sort of be the ruler of Mandalore. So that's my predictions for season 3. But all in all, I think that this season, this show has been so great. It has done so many really epic things with bringing in, bringing in characters from Clone Wars and Rebels and the original trilogy, and just some really cool stuff that I just really love, and I cannot wait for season 3. It was really awesome. This final episode was awesome. This whole season was awesome. Those are my thoughts on the final episode of season 2 of The Mandalorian. Please comment below your thoughts on it, and remember to like, subscribe, check out some of my other videos, and with that said, this is the way.